What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of NJ Healthy Heat, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Matt De La Rosa, and today we have the hitting coach for App State University, Seth McLemore, coming on to talk a little bit about hitting. He's been at multiple different levels. He's been a player himself. Everywhere he's gone, he's had success at the dish with his teams. They're producing big numbers, and now at App State, he's looking to do it again. And so I'm really excited to dive into this. Quick side story: Seth and I met through, another baseball buddy at a bachelor party. So for everybody out there, man, like baseball connects you in so many different ways. You meet so many different people just along the journey. And I haven't played baseball in over, close to 10 years. I'd say like 7 years. And I'm still meeting people in the game of baseball just through the people that I met when I played. So just a reminder to treat everybody well. People don't really care how well you played the game. They just remember how you've made them feel, and that'll take you much further. So without further ado, man, I'd love to give you the platform to just kind of introduce yourself and, tell the people a little bit about you. I know that you're about to be a father. If you want to touch on that a little bit, congratulations, and then we'll talk some ball.
Yeah, no, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, we actually turned the calendar yesterday to baby month.
Let's go.
So we are my wife and I are due on the 20th, and that's a Friday. So we're supposed to be at Old Dominion. So we, it's a little bit of chaos, but it's nice to have the calm through that. I guess a little background on me. Originally from Tennessee. Just grew up kind of blue collar family, man. Love baseball. Love the people that impacted my life around it, and small college player who junior college to NAIA to a little bit of indie ball after that. But man, I went to my first ABCA coaches convention, and I never turned back. It was one of the most eye opening experience, one of the most fun things, and that I've ever had to do. And just like I think you mentioned it a second ago, man, but just the people you get to meet, and how they treat you, and what that's like is very, very special. And I think that's the beauty of being able to work in this game and coach in this game as long as I have. And I hadn't played for 10 years now, just about, and it's pretty cool to still be able to grow relationships and meet new people and continue impacting the lives of young men.
Definitely, man. Yeah, no, I didn't. For me personally, I never wanted to be a coach. Like, I didn't want to ever be a coach. I, wanted to go do something outside of the baseball world. And then the moment I got done with baseball, I was so tired. It chewed me up and spit me out. I had such a bad taste of it in my mouth. But, it's the first love. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be in the back of my life, and I'm so grateful to have gotten the opportunity to come back in. It gives me the opportunity to talk with guys like you and share stories and share experience and help the next Seth and the next Matt who's coming up their journey with anything that they're struggling with, because Lord knows that this game is full of twists and turns, ups and downs, highs and lows, and without the proper guidance, without the proper communication like we're about to talk about here, it can feel like you're all alone, and it can really take you to some dark places, especially as a human being, not just as a baseball player. So I'm sure we'll touch on that. The first thing I want to talk about is again, you've had success across different levels, right? When people talk about the teams that you have coached as the hitting coach, like, what do you want them to say? Like, what do you want your stamp and brand to be for the style of baseball that you guys kind of produce?
Um, I don't know. That's deep, buddy.
Yeah.
I like that though. I think relentless is the word that comes to mind. When we just the way we train, like the way that we try to emphasize that everything matters, right? Like whenever we go through our process, and like we want every little thing to matter, because in the game, like everything affects everything. Like you're not hitting a 3-run homer because you like you got one pitch in one spot, right? Like two other people had to get on base and like affect the game, and affect the pitcher in that way for us to get to the moment where we do hit a 3-run homer, and it could have started with a hit by pitch. And then a guy gets a little ding single, and then that guy gets the pitch to hit to really drive. And so, like for me and for our staff, man, like I think it's like we want guys to be relentless, to know that they're going to fail, but to come back hungry and want to go get it again, and know that like when I'm up there at the plate, like my only job is to make it easier for the next guy behind me. and if I can do that and I can, continue to press forward in that manner and like understand that failure is part of it, then like there is no failure if I'm learning, and growing through that. And we talked a lot about that over the weekend, and just like how much like one little thing can matter, because like if you get out on a slider down and away and you take it the next time, like we got better because of that, and we affected the game because of that. He threw one more pitch the next time, and maybe we got it up and we got a knock on it the next time. And so just being able to learn, to grow, and come back with a different attitude and like a relentless mental approach to strive for greatness.
Yeah, I gotta imagine that's something that you guys are harping on hard in the off season as well. Although, if correct me, you came back like after the off season, right? You just started the team, right? So how does that impact or affect your role with the team moving forward? You weren't there for the first half of the off season, and now you're just like, hey, here's the new plan. Like, what is that? I guess relationship like?
Yeah. So I guess like a little bit of background on that. So I was at App State in 2023 and 2024. And then I went to Southern Illinois University for a year and a half, and then came back to App State this Christmas after talking to Coach Smith a little bit and him offering me a job again. And it has been a little different, like you kind
Yeah.
of miss out on some of that. And I think you miss out more on like knowing the players versus like trying to come in and like bull rush an approach or bull rush like, hey, this is the way we're going to go about it. Like it's more about understanding who they are. And like I know Coach Smith, and I know kind of what he's about and what he wants as far as an offense. But it's about understanding these guys and what they need, what they want, and what their background is, where they're coming from. Because like at the end of the day, like I didn't walk in here day one and be like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like it's a progress, and it's like it is a process to like get to know them and understand like, okay, like this is how I can help this guy and this is how I can help this guy. And that may look completely different across the board for, we got 17 hitters. Like it could look completely different on 17 different occasions, and like I think that's the beauty of it is like you got guys at your house, and my wife's 8-9 months pregnant and cooking dinner for these boys, and like
Oh.
but just to get a chance to get to know them a little bit and get to just be friends and understand who they are so that we can help coach them and make them a better player because of that.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Love that you're bringing the kids into the home. I don't know. Was there rules against that once upon a time? Like you couldn't do that. Now, like it's all good, or how does that all work?
I think as long as you do it for everybody, like
Yeah.
you're good. You know what I mean? Like you can't. There's no special occasions or anything like
Like yo,
that. Like
you're hot right now. You're hitting three. You're putting the ball out the yard. Come get you some steak. 0 for 4 guy with the guns and don't text me. Don't come over. You're not welcome here. you know. So you mentioned approach and helping people with their approach. What is y'all's approach, or I guess what is your approach? What are you trying to talk to the team about? Obviously, there's a team approach, and then there's probably an individual approach for each kid as they step into the box, knowing their weaknesses, strengths, what pitches they can handle, all that good stuff. But overall, for App State right now, what's the approach as y'all kind of are in the early parts of the year?
it varies pitcher to pitcher, like and guy to guy as far as the offensive goes, and you know what? The thing that we talk about the most is hitting strikes hard.
Okay.
Like we want to leverage balls in the strike zone and like maybe even more specifically, like in our hitting zone, and like that hitting zone being a little bit different from guy to guy. Like maybe one guy's better on the outer half of the plate and one guy's better on the inner half of the plate. And just understanding that and knowing who they are. To bring them success, right? Like we do a ton of work on scouting reports and video stuff to try to set them up for that. And we make mistakes on that all the time, but one thing we talk about is like your approach as a hitter always trumps the scouting report, because like when you're good. Like we've talked about how you're going to be good. Like are you a guy that's a right-handed hitter who's trying to go right center gap and then be early from there, or are you more like middle of the field? And just like trying to understand timing and those different things. But I think like number one is hit strikes hard and try to leverage that thing a little bit, and not so much leverage it for home runs, but like good flight through the middle of the field, and like understanding what that good flight is and how it promotes more success and missing better. Like at the end of the day, like we want you to miss hit balls better, and instead of getting out, like can you miss hit balls and get hits?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like that perfect is elusive. It's hard to find sometimes. So like if we can set our sights on the things that make us successful, and promote the most success, I think that's a very, like, it's broad, but at the same time, like that's kind of how we want to go about it. And at the end of the day, like there's 9 guys in that lineup, and they're probably all trying to do 9 different things slightly, off of like trying to hit strikes hard. But at the end of the day, like they bring their individuality to our group, and that's what makes us good. It's them being like 9 pieces of one lineup.
So you guys aren't obviously teaching. I don't think there's any coach in America who's like, yo, we're gonna teach the swing for you guys to hit homers and homers only. But on the opposite of that side of that, teams that you've been involved with are hitting homers at an unreal clip. You guys are leaving the yard, breaking records everywhere that you're going. You got guys who are hitting multiple double-digit home runs. How does that happen? Is that weight room? Is that approach, seeing good pitches, all of the above? Like, how do you explain everywhere that you've been, home run numbers are just going up and through the roof?
Yeah, I mean, good players, number one, right? Like these cats, like I tell people all the time, they don't let me hit no more. So, like it's like just trying to help them understand, and like the weight room, yeah, man. Like at Southern Illinois, like our strength coach Garrett Spradlin, awesome, awesome, man. Like the things that we were doing in there. The same thing here at App, man. Like Connor McCarthy, who does our lifting and stuff. Like these boys, like they understand what it takes. Like we got guys sending pictures to me and Kermit of their plate and like what they're eating for breakfast and dinner,
Love it.
because like they're 180 pounds and like they know that they got to keep their weight up. Because like everything affects everything. And so we talk a lot about that. But I think it's the way that we teach the approach and the swing and things like that. Like we want you to miss the ball in the air, like we don't want you to hit that thing and hit choppers on the ground, and like trying to teach you, what that's like, and what on time is, and how to flight the baseball. And I think it's funny that you say that, man, but like we ain't asking nobody to hit homers. Like I want you to be on a line through the middle of the field, and like if you miss hit the ball, then you miss hit the ball for a home run. And like get out in front of that thing a little bit, and promote. Like we say it all the time, early's on time. If you like, you can't be late and be like, you can't be late to the party. And so like, we want to promote the early, but with good intentions, and good hitters. Like we don't want guys lifting that thing or even taking their eyes off the barrel. Like I sent a video of Miguel Cabrera talking just in the locker room on Saturday to somebody. And all he's saying is like, if you take your eyes up, then your shoulder follows. And then you create bad habits. And like, but it's little things, like it's Miggy who's done it forever. And like always thinking about is keeping his eyes down on the barrel a little bit. And then the ball goes up, and it's funny that little things like that are things we talk about. And it's maybe so simple, but guys forget, and like we just keep reminding them and keep pressuring them on that, because, at the end of the day, like every little thing matters. And if we can, be the same cat every day, then the good things will start stacking up for us, and the process wins, right? Like try to not to be so result driven, but when the good things happen, like it is fun, man. When that ball goes over the fence, like
Yeah.
that's the most fun you'll ever have, dude.
It's awesome. Yeah. Hitting homers, awesome. Getting base hits, awesome. Hitting homers, awesome. Hitting homers with dudes on base, even more awesome.
Even better, baby. Even
Even
better.
more
Two
awesome.
thumbs up for that one.
You said it a couple of times now, man. I love it in your own words. Like it sounds like y'all's philosophy is everything. What were you saying? Everything is everything. Everything matters.
Everything affects everything.
Everything affects everything. You said it a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean in your words? What are y'all trying to say by that?
I I guess it comes from like we live and die by death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? Death by 1,000 cuts, and like what that means is like an 0-0 take is good for us. Like whether that thing flips the count to 1-0 or 0-1, like we talk a lot about rhythm. Like you're gonna go up in that box, or like if we're training one day, you're gonna take the first ball off the machine because you want to see the timing of it, and get some rhythm, and you're going to walk into the box and swing 0-0. Like why would we do that? And like you don't even do it when we hit on, at practice. Like you want to see one, and when you're second in the group, like you've already seen a couple, and like you just like you want some flow, right? And so we try to like incorporate that to the way we go about our work in the game too, right? So if you're going to take one off the machine, like let's just take one. Like what better 0-1 than out, like, and that's a big thing, man. Like we want to affect everything in like a positive manner for us, and like I think I said it earlier, but like your only job once we get in the box is to make it easier for the next guy. Whether that's taking a pitch, whether that's, you know, like turn around and saying, "Hey, it was a right on right changeup." Like people need to know that so that we can continue to like work and evolve and be in the best place so that we can, score runs or get people on base and have the opportunity to score runs. But like the everything effect, like I said it earlier, you can't hit a 3-run jack without 3 people. And like that's like those are the things that people don't see, right? Like sometimes people don't see a chopper to shortstop with a runner on third and less than 2 outs as being like a sexy thing. But we try to applaud that, man. Like we really do. And like if you're thinking hitting a low hard ball through the middle with a runner on third and less than two, it's a weird thing, but you might just get a hit.
A lot of the times, man, I tell a lot of the hitters that I work with, and I don't really teach hitting. I'll coach a team every now and then, and I'll have a philosophy, but I'll tell them, I was fortunate enough to at the time break the school record for RBIs at Lenore Ryan. It's since been shattered. I mean, they're doing some big things over there.
They're good baseball.
They're doing
there,
some big things over there. I'm probably not even on the top 10 anymore, but I would just tell them, like, dude, anytime there was a runner on third base with less than 2 outs in the infield back, like my approach was just to roll over a ball to second base, jog it to first, and there's my ribby. And then more times than not, what was happening? I was putting a ball into the right center field gap or leaving the yard or hooking one over the first baseman's head, whatever it may be. But like, if you commit to that approach, hitting with a runner on third less than 2 outs should be the favorite time of the day for you, because no matter what, you're either going to get a base hit or you're going to leave that with a productive quality at bat with an RBI. And I don't think many kids really kind of see it that way. They just see themselves getting out, again, unsexy. And it's just like, dude, I live for RBIs. I live for helping the team move in the right direction.
100%. That was a big conversation I had, with Matt Shark, who was one of our guys. 25 homers last year at SIU. And like, not so much about the runner at third, but like, who do you want to be, Matt Sharp, right? And like what if you just led the team in RBIs? Every time you had an opportunity to go knock, like just get a hit with somebody in scoring position, and like what happens, and like the freedom that you allow yourself, right? And all of a sudden, like I just hit a homer instead of getting a single through the middle, and it is just it's very incredible, and guys like, and I think it goes back to like the everything affects everything. Can you go back up to the plate the next time and still think that?
Yeah.
Even though you hit a 500-foot mammo, can you really walk in there, put your feet in the box, and like know in your heart that like I'm not thinking hit that mammo again. Like I'm thinking about flighting the ball through the middle and just being a good hitter, and like letting success breed success, right? And just like understanding what brought me. My dad used to say it all the time, but like you dance with the one that brought you. Like you ain't going to the dance dancing with some other girl, like the girl that you came with. That's exactly why you're here, And so like keep doing it, and like, and they're kids, man, like they are, and they're growing and they're young, man, and they're awesome. But like that's why we're here as coaches, is to continue keeping them in that, in that line, and them understanding that it's okay to think that way and it's okay to miss, better.
So you mentioned the take on the 0-0. I want to kind of go back to that a little bit here. Is there, like, when's the time to not take 0-0, right? Because a lot of the coaches that you'll see out there, I think for the most part, are saying like, hey, first 3 pitches, is going to be probably one of your best pitches of the entire at bat, right? Pitcher's got to get ahead. They're hoping to leave one up, and you're probably going to do some damage with one of those. What's the like overall thought, maybe deep into the game, or is that just like the beginning to start a game, first time through the order? Hey, let's see a pitch. Once you've seen them one time through, hey, we can kind of free it up a little bit and let the bat, go. But explain that a little bit deeper if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think it goes, guy to guy. Like we got guys who are, guys that score runs for us and guys that drive in runs for us. And like you don't want to categorize people too much, but there's
the game.
But you do, right? Like,
yeah, so that's the game we play, dude.
So how do you build your lineup? Like I kind of like, I joke with our guys all the time, but it's a very similar process, right? Like if all 9 guys saw one extra pitch in AB through the first time, like just one time through the order, right? That's 9, 10 pitches extra that he throws. And like we talk about it as attrition of the pitcher, like that he ain't as good at pitch 45 as he is at 25.
Yeah.
And he really ain't as good at pitch 75 as he was at pitch 30. So like especially the dude on the mound, right? Your Friday guy, or like what that is. Like there is a process to going and like finding chinks and like finding your, death by 1,000 paper cuts. But I think it's more like our personnel versus their personnel on that. Like, are you the guy that needs the rhythm to take a pitch? Because like you're not so good on an 0 count, and that's okay. Maybe your third at bat, you're good on an 0 count off of a guy. But the first one, you need a little, like, you just need that to understand your timing and, like, why get yourself out? Like, at the end of the day, like, one of our main approaches is, like, double or bust. Like, we're hitting a double or we're not swinging. So, like, if that's not the pitch that you're looking for or that you got 0-0, then, like, all right, we're not swinging. But I think it takes some maturity. It takes guys understanding that, like, that is not a defensive approach. Like we'll go into some where it's like fastball spit, where we're only swinging at heaters, and like we know that he ain't going to land an off-speed pitch, and you know, but guys want to think about that as defensive sometimes, and like our coaching style and what we're trying to communicate to them is like, no, it's not defensive. We're giving you the freedom to go and hook a fastball in your pull side gap and like really sell out for that thing. But if you see it funny, like just know like only 1 out of 4 is a strike. So like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even if it is a strike, it might be like a really good pitch for him.
Yeah.
And like instead of beating that thing in the ground and having weak contact, like we just want to maximize leveraging and hitting those strikes hard. So like anything that we can do to help maximize that for guys, like we're trying to like get that to them, and just understand like sometimes the take is better, like so we talk about it all the time. Sometimes a whiff is as good of a swing as you can ever take, right? You get an 0-0 changeup, like are you going to roll it over or you just swing through it? And like that takes some maturity. Like it takes some skill to do that too.
Yeah.
And some like it's okay to whiff because like sometimes like you can go sit on it the next pitch.
Yep.
And so like just having those conversations and like having those training environments. Like I spend guys all the time in BP, right? Like if you watch our pregame BP, like guys are asking for spin, they get it. Like, and I think it's important. I think you're dumb if you don't, because you're about to go get it in the game, like,
yeah.
And so even if they don't ask for it, like you whiff a spinner in BP, like I'm probably going to throw it again because we talk about it a lot, as far as that's what they want to do. And that's what the other pitching coach wants to do, and like trying to set ourselves up for the most success that we can.
So when it comes to scouting, and you don't have to give all your secrets away, but what are y'all looking at as far as getting a scouting report from the other team's pitchers? What are some things that you're trying to hone in on? And maybe you can speak in more broad general terms for maybe like a high school kid who's listening to this, or a college kid who maybe doesn't have, a coach like you who's talking about approach, and maybe he's I don't know. But like, what can a hitter do on their own maybe to get a better game plan going into a series or anything like that? Like what can they look at there?
Yeah, I mean, I think fastball profile, like that's a big one for us. Like, is that thing going to ride and taking off? Like, is it kind of low slot up shoot, or is he sinking it and running it? I think that is like a baseline for guys because like no approach works if you're not on time for fastball. Like if you want to like give anything to a high school kid, like the only approach you should be, even if you're sitting soft, like it doesn't work unless you're on time for heater. And like no approach that we can give you will ever work unless you're on time for that fastball. And so like fastball profile, fastball velocity, even if you don't have the best like scouting services or video, like one thing that I used to do in the NAI, like are people grounding it out or are they flying out? Like it's a very simple concept, but like you don't look at it like that so much. So like if everybody's going in there and hitting ground balls, okay, well maybe I need to get my eyes to the bottom of it. And if everybody's going in there and hitting fly balls and popping out, maybe I need to get my eyes on top of that thing a little bit and, set my sights a little bit higher in the zone. Um, are they doubling up off speed? Are they tripling up off speed? Like there's a lot of different things that kind of go into that. But, as far as just like the basic thing, man, like we're looking at fastball shape. Like I'm trying to describe to them breaking ball shape. Like, do they throw right on right changeups, or is it just fastball slider? I think those little trinkets are things that guys want to know because like you don't want to be surprised. You know what I mean? And I think anything that we can do to help them with that and to have a really good plan, like you might get a 2-2 changeup, like right on right, and that's okay. Like we know that, like going into it. So but maybe he's only thrown 3 changeups to righties in his life,
Yeah.
So like we're just gonna nix that thing. So
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
You get it, like swing through it, hit it. You may not even know it's a changeup, and as you're running to first base, you kind of giggle and like, oh, that was a changeup.
I think some of the biggest difference between high school hitters and like college hitters, and probably even pro hitters between college and high school, or college and the professional rankings, is like the ability to really watch the game and like really be in every pitch and understand like what you're looking for. Like in high school, yeah, you're watching the game and you're just like literally watching. Like you're probably checked out, but you're like seeing what's happening. You're just waiting for the big moments. You're celebrating your team, and you're gonna be like, "Coach, but I watched the game." Then in college, you're looking for what's he doing to guys that are right-handed, what's his pitch sequence to that. And then in the pros, I'm sure it goes even deeper. Like, they got the iPad that they're looking at, spin and how are they setting them up and all of that stuff. And then they're in between the tunnel. I think I wouldn't say a lot, but I think some teams are even using traject now in between innings at their stadium to like get the profile of the pitcher coming in before they
I
go.
mean,
You know what I'm saying?
could you imagine, man? Could you
Like,
imagine?
that's crazy. So like
You
that,
know,
what a huge advantage traject is there. But I mean, that's just something that I hope that hitters that I work with and that maybe parents or coaches of hitters here can understand is like the deeper you go into the game, the more knowledge you're going to come out with. Like you're just not going to focus super hard and come out with nothing. Like it's almost impossible. You're going to
yeah,
pick up on some form of sequence that the pitcher's given away, the tip that the pitcher's given away, coaches is given sign, you picked up on his signs. Now you relay that to the whole team, and all it takes is one swing to transition a good baseball game, right? One game, one pitch, you got on it, you timed it up, whatever, you leave the yard, 2-1 game, boom, the game's over, right? Like that's how
yeah,
quickly it can happen.
yeah. Like I
All
mean,
from
you
paying
said it,
attention.
but like I hit 3, 4, 5 for my team, and like there's another righty or there's another lefty that is very similar for me. Like whoever I am, like how is he pitching that guy?
Yeah.
And like that matters because he's gonna pitch me the same way.
Yeah.
Whether I'm right-handed, left-handed, like all I gotta do is pay attention a little bit. Like every 0-2 count, he's bouncing a slider, and like people are whiffing that thing, and they're kind of like, "Oh, it's so gross." No, man, like you ain't paying attention. Like you're just swinging up there, and you're telling everybody it's gross, and like, no, 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 don't be doing good. But that's everything affecting everything, right? Like that's the little things we try to like get out of our program so that like we understand like that's not who we are. Like we do watch the game. We have that competitive advantage because we're paying attention and we understand it and we know what they're trying to do to us a little bit.
Have you seen that Dustin Pedroia video? It made me think of it when you were like hitters coming back to the dugout and being like, "Man, that thing's so gross." And I'll be honest, I've done it. Like when I come back and I have a dirty pitch, and I'll come back to the dugout. But Dustin Pedroia has this story that he tells where his coach at ASU, I believe he played at ASU. I think he played at ASU. He got out the first pitch or the first inning of the game, comes back to the dugout and basically tells the team how good the other pitcher is and like how you need to be ready. Like, hey, he's got some good stuff today. Like that was a hard at bat. And then after the game, the coach basically came back and told him, you can't do that. You can't come back as our best player on the team and tell them that you got defeated by the guy on the mound. Like, even if you did, you have to keep that to yourself so that they think as a team, we're on this guy. Like, hey, we're on this dude. I just missed it. Like, we're going to be all over him today. So even just that small little self-talk to yourself and to the team can go such a far way in the mentality of it, right? Because you get your best player that comes in and says, like, man, this dude's gross. you're hitting 9-hole, little Johnny, and you're like, bro, if our 3-hole hitter who's committed and and getting good barrels on it, I don't stand a chance here. So it's interesting stuff, man. I want to talk to you about the beginning of the season. It's always an interesting time, right? You go through the whole off season. Everybody's got a plan. Everybody's so excited to start the season, and then the season gets going, and people go all different ways. You got guys who are starting to, execute on the plan, and like they're hitting barrels and they're happy, and you're trying to maintain that and hope that their ego doesn't get too big and they go in one direction. And you got guys who are off to a slow start and aren't maybe executing on the plan as much as they would like, and maybe they're thinking about abandoning ship on their plan. How do you handle both sides? Can you kind of talk through both sides, whichever one you want to start with first?
Yeah. I mean, dude, that's great because like that's exactly what happens. Like what as Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And like, but that's it. Like you're gonna get punched, and like whether it's because of preseason rankings and like you get nominated for this, and this, or maybe you didn't get nominated. And like you feel like you got a little bit of chip on your shoulder, and but I do think like when it comes to that, like let's just say the guy who's pressing a little bit, right? He ain't starting as good as he wanted to start or thinks he should have started. Like, number one, we've got to understand that this is a long season, man. It's an eternity. You're going to get 200 ABs in this thing, maybe plus that, and just understanding, like who you are and what you bring like value wise to our team, and like all the time, like our value and our process is not talking about hits. We don't talk about hits when we train. We talk about hitting the ball hard, yeah, but we don't talk about hits. We talk about like you getting your swing off and doing what you want to do. And like a lot of times, man, like that doesn't happen in the game, right? Like you hit a line out at 100 to the shortstop and you hit a 67-mile-an-hour flare that drops down, and like it evens out. It does even out, and like trying to help people understand that and stay the course a little bit. I mean, like sessions before we hit, sessions after we hit, like we're off today, man, and like we've got guys wanting to hit today, and like good, that's what we need to do to continue what we're doing, and maybe get a little bit better and start a little bit cleaner next weekend or on Wednesday, and just keep pressing that envelope. But it's just about trusting the work, and like understanding that all good things come from hard work, and like no matter what happens, like things are going to go bad. Everybody has this envision of hitting 400 and, leading the conference and yada, yada, yada. But that's, to me, that's how baseball's like life. Like you're going to get a flat tire, and you're going to, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be mean to your wife? Like, are you like,
Your
are you going to be,
life. You're gonna be
yeah,
mean to
like,
your
are you
pregnant
going
life.
to, but right, like, are you gonna punch out and throw your helmet and be a bad teammate because like one little thing, like you got a bad call, and like, but and understanding and talking to guys about just like it does matter, and we do crave that failure a little bit, and we keep coming back to it and back to it, but we do have to understand that there's a lot of grace we got to give ourselves, man. Like 30%'s good in this game on the offensive side, like you're a Hall of Famer. Like they'll probably never tell you to stop playing if you hit 30% for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so let's hit the chill pill, baby. Like let's slow down a little bit and just like breathe. Like it's all gonna be okay. And just understanding like how this can teach us about life and the way that we react to problems, and understanding that like it is all part of the game and all part of life, and just how we can help people become better men, through this thing, and just understanding that. And I think that's the platform that, Kermit has brought here to App, and, these guys are affected by that every day because like they get it every day, whether it's videos of Mike Tyson or it's first and third defenses in our team talk, man, like we really try to harp on the mental game because it's so important, and so effective if you can control that.
Yeah. Everything affects everything. Back to it, right? Like outside of the game of baseball, man, I'm a huge advocate, and I don't want to say preach, but I never know what to say. But like I share, I guess, a lot with the athletes, like how you being stressed out about your biology exam that you didn't study for has now created a negative impact when you come to the baseball field, because now you're not 100% locked into your training because you have to go back to study for something that you could have done and prevented, which now makes our team weaker. And like, is that a baseball thing? No. But is that like a life thing, and like how that impacts everything that you do? Absolutely, right? When you're stressed in life, like, it's hard to get the best out of yourself. And I think that's really, really hard to do sometimes in college with everything that we ask of athletes these days. And like, we've both been through it. There's just a lot going on. So, in order to play your best baseball, you have to be free outside of the game as well. And it's very, very difficult, right? Everybody's got different family situations going on. Everybody's got different things going on in their life. And so it's important to talk to them about, like, hey, that stuff outside, like, just because I'm your baseball coach, like, I want to talk to you about it. I want to help you, because that does impact what we do. And you're not doing it just to like become a better hitter. You're not like, hey, let me help this kid financially, because if he's free, financially, he'll start hitting more homers. It's like, you want everybody who I'm sure you coach and work with to have as good a life as possible. And baseball provides you that platform to help them understand how to succeed and win in life beyond the field. So great message there, man. I want to switch gears just a little bit here. A lot of people that listen to this are also parents of kids, and I want to talk a little bit of recruiting here. On the recruiting side, can you just kind of give a general, how do kids get recruited these days? Like, it's never been harder, I feel like, for high school kids. Let's talk high school specifically. What are things that they can be doing to help them stand out? I'm sure plenty of kids would love to go to App State. D1. If you don't know anything about App State, I'll tell you right now, if I had known about App State when I was in high school, I would 100% have applied and like made that my number one destination. The campus is beautiful. The town that it sits in Boone, North Carolina, is beautiful. It's a great, great place to be. And especially with the baseball on the rise right now, it's probably a great place to play baseball. So for people who want to go to App State or have maybe the thought of it, how would they do that? How do they get there?
Yeah, I think right now, like, the separator from the high school side of it is physicality. Like, just like being a man amongst boys and like wanting to get to that next level. I mean, like, we play in a great league, man. Like, this is a beautiful town and like a beautiful park. Like, I'm sitting in our press box now, and it's awesome. It really is, and it's a very special thing to be a part of this program, and it's an honor. But at the end of the day, like, it is a whole new world, man. Like, it's a whole new world, and the baseball side of things is getting better and better and better, and I think it's about understanding who you are as a player, and where you line up with those that you're around every day. Like, are you the best player on your team? Are you the best player in your county? And like, from there, like, where does that line you up to be, as college, right? Are you a junior college player who needs a year? And like, with the transfer portal and the D2 and all of that, like, there are opportunities to move up through this game and through recruiting or what have you. But I think it starts with, like, you've got to find a place where you fit in first. And for me, like, I mean, I played NAI. I did. I played junior college, and like, I needed that. But at the end of the day, like, I played independent baseball. I got paid to play a little bit, but it was more about me finding my niche and understanding where I needed to go, and maybe where God put me a little bit, so that I could be the best version of myself. But maybe not always chasing the name on the chest or the logo, but understanding, like, it is more about playing and experience and being wanted than it is about where you want to go.
All right. So as good as App State is at baseball, their internet is not that great, apparently. So we had a little technical difficulties there, but we are back. We'll just jump right back into it. You were talking about recruiting and being a dude, a man amongst boys, all the physical you know attributes that they need to have. Let's kind of pick up from there.
Yeah. I think it's about physicality, and it's about separating yourself, at this day and age. And hey, I don't think that's, a knock to the high school player, because at the end of the day, like, for us at the mid-major level, man, like, we have to have that player come in here and to grow and develop and be a part of this program and oftentimes become leaders. Like you look at the record book for us, man, like there are a lot of guys who spent 4 and 5 years here who have made a significant impact on the culture and on the like the way we play the game and how we want to impact people, and like they seem to be your captains a little bit, guys that have been here for 4 years. But I think number one, it goes back to being, niche. Like, where do you fit in? Like, do those guys hit a lot of homers? Do they steal a lot of bases? Like, are you a fast guy or are you like a bigger dude that hits the ball in the air? Um, do they have a lot of left-handed pitchers? And, is that what you are? Like maybe you can go find a role there because they don't have a ton of that, and, understanding the coaches and who you want to play for and things like that, I think make all the biggest differences. Like when you're looking at schools and being recruited by people, because those are like, sometimes you see the name on the chest and you get excited and you don't go into all the little things that make an experience and what you really are looking for as a player and as a man, as you want to get, grown and just, prepared for life as you go through this thing. Because at the end of the day, like most guys aren't going to play pro baseball. It's about who you become in the next 4 or 5 years and what you learn that impacts your life the most.
Definitely, man, definitely. So do you personally recruit? Are you out on the road and doing stuff like that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, we do all of that.
Okay,
Like,
so when you're out on the road looking at recruits, talk us through that. I'm sure you've got some form of process. You don't just show up blindly and go, okay, who's playing today? Let me find a player out here. What does it look like for you to prepare? How do you determine who you're going to see? And once you're there, what are you really looking for?
yeah. So yeah, we have resources everywhere, friends, trusted people that, junior college coaches, high school coaches that, put you on players. I think video and like Twitter, X, like whatever you want to call it, is a great resource and tool, man. Like it's a very easy way for me to like get a name and then I can go look up like a little bit about them very quickly, and just being able to get some video in front of me. But like, you build your lists, like you kind of go through. Like we have a ton of camps here that we put a lot of lists of, especially young guys. Like we see freshmen and sophomores at our camp, and we're like, hey, this kid right here, we need to follow.
Yeah.
Like, and by the time we can talk to him and go see him, like, all right, he's on our list, and we know that this is one. Like, all right, and when I see him as a junior, we're like, okay, let's move. Like this is time for us to like he's like become physical enough for us, and he's grown up a little bit from the time that we seen him, but we saw some actions that we liked, and go from there. But I think it's a lot about the resources. It's about the relationships. Like, how does he treat his parents in the dugout? Like how does he treat his high school coach? Like something's gonna go wrong in that game. It ain't gonna be perfect. And like
Yeah.
I would rather see you fail as a recruiter and like what's gonna happen next as just see you go up there and hit three. Yeah, it'd be really cool to see you hit 3 homers and have the best day you ever had. But at the end of the day, like you're not getting the true test and the true measure of a man unless you see him fail. So like I'd like to see you fail a little bit. I'd like to see how you react. Are you going to run hard down the line when you hit a 6-3 chopper? Are you going to run hard when you pop one out and like touch second base when you fly out to center field? Because if you ain't doing that, we don't want you. Like at the end of the day, like you don't love baseball enough. Like what if he makes an error? Like you're just going to be happy jogging down the line and just playing soft and kind of going halfway. Like we don't love that, and like we got a saying around here, like game honors toughness. And like tough is running hard when you hit a chopper to short. It's hard to do that sometimes, and it's a choice you have to make. But the guys that make that choice more often than not are your best players and guys that impact your program in the right way.
And so, with everything that's going on with recruiting nowadays, the NIL deals, the portal, all that stuff, what is something that you think is getting misunderstood by parents and recruits as they're going through the process? What are they not picking up that you guys are trying? And when I say you guys, I mean coaches in general. Just speak from that point of view. Like, what is it there's just so much noise out there, and I feel like a lot of parents are getting a ton of information that when I talk to them, I'm like, why are you thinking about that? Why are you doing that?
Yeah. I think the number one thing is how important academics are. At the end of the day, uh, it's hard to graduate. It's hard to graduate if you transfer 2 or 3 times. Like people don't understand that you lose credits every time you transfer. Like you're not transferring in the same credits. Like they may not have the degree that you want, and you don't even think about little things like that until you get full fledged, like, hey, I'm committed. And then like, or I'm transferring and I'm out, or, what have you. But like the little details of all of that, and how that affects you. Like, I mean, the amount of people that I've seen getting like a university studies degree who wanted something different is kind of incredible nowadays. Like, are you really and truly doing what you want and what's best for your life post baseball, or like are you caught up in the moment right now? And I think that's the biggest thing that I would like to convey to people is like don't get caught up in the moment. And the like the stars in your eyes a little bit and this and that, because at the end of the day, like the grass ain't always greener on the other side. Like the grass is greener where you water it. And if you keep watering that thing and like keep putting it in, like then you get to like understand who you are. You get to do the things you want to do. Like you may get that accounting degree instead of a general studies degree.
Hey, shout
Like
out to all my accountants out there. Hey, what it do? What it do? I ain't doing nothing with it, but hey, I got it.
yeah, man. Like, but at the end of the day, like I think that's the like one of the most important things is like, and you need to know who your like who your coaches are going to be and how they want to impact you too, because like those little things, like I think people kind of get lost in that, and the priority gets put on baseball a little bit. Instead of like the holistic version of what you're getting and what you're doing and who you're going to be around for the next 3, 4, 5 years of your life.
Yep. So, are y'all when it comes to like the transfer portal and versus like high school athletes, like how do y'all view it? How do y'all approach it? I'm sure y'all are. If I had to guess, y'all are probably still heavily involved with high school recruits. So how do you explain the balance of both?
I think like I mean, yeah, we've got guys 27s, 26s signed right now. Like we really like those classes. And trying to build from the middle of your diamond almost like with the high school guys, right? Can you go get some high school center fielders, shortstops, catchers, pitchers, and kind of spread them out from there a little bit because like those guys are athletic, right? We want guys that are going to be around here for 3, 4, 5 years. And so like, can we start our base with the high school guys and then supplement from junior college portal, things like that? Because at the end of the day, like we don't have the most NIL money, like we don't have the most, sexy things and what have you. But what we do have is love and like hard work and toughness that we can offer people and a great university and a great town. Like you mentioned that, man, like it's special to be here. It's an honor to be a part of this program. And
Scary to get there. Scary drive on the way up, but once you get there,
what
you're set.
it's unbelievable, man. The views it is a little sketchy. Like you got to know the ways to come. You got to know the
Yeah.
ways to come. Um, but yeah, man, like how like how we build it, like we've had a great balance, right? There's a 6 or 7 high school kids a year, 2 or 3 junior college guys a year, 3 or 4 portal guys a year, and like you just kind of mix and match and mold it all together because like that's who we are, and we want guys that want to be here, but we also understand like it kind of starts from the high school level, and then we've got to go supplement from there a little bit.
What impact does Twitter play for high school recruits? Is that something that they need to be like spamming videos on, or is it still email heavy for you guys, or is it just all connections from college coaches and they need to be or high school and travel ball coaches? Like, where should a high school athlete or transfer, I guess, who's trying to get recruited, be spending their time?
I think it's all of the above. All of the above. Like if you're sending out video, like that's great. Like make sure it's easy to watch. That's the big thing. And I think that's why Twitter X is such a great tool. is like you don't have to download anything or like go to a separate link. Like I just look somebody's name, like somebody gives me a name, I can go and put that thing in and I can see video instantly. And sometimes when you get emails like, oh, you must download this drive, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. You have to make it easy so that, and like appealing to the eye for people like, okay, he hits the ball hard. Okay, he runs fast. Like he throws hard, right? Like there are certain things, especially if you're doing that blind. But if you've got coaches and contacts and things like that are kind of setting you up to get to people and recommending you, like that's the best way. Like we trust people as coaches, right? Like sometimes I've got to go see somebody with my own eyes that I find on video, and that takes time, right? Like I can't go see a JUCO kid in Texas on today, like Monday. We got a game on Wednesday. Like how am I going to get back and forth? Like we don't have the budget for booking flights like that and that and that and turning it around. But if I know somebody who knows somebody that can make a phone call and be like, hey, I seen this guy play, then okay, that makes it, maybe it is a priority for me to go see him now. When I get 3 or 4 days off, or when we go to Southern Miss in a couple weeks, like, can we line something up to go see somebody, even if it's a high school kid? Like, if it's only a 2 hour drive from, a road trip, maybe we can go and do that and see him on a Thursday before we play, or maybe stick around and I catch a Monday flight and, a Monday night flight instead of the team on Sunday night. And just staying around an extra day or something like that. So it's just about using those resources and like understanding that we do trust people, and like that relationship of person to person, coach to coach matters way more. But the Twitter X is great. Like it really is, because it is a very, very instant way for us to go and get video, get our sights on somebody. Like, okay, like this works, like what do we got from here?
What do you want to see in that video? What how should they construct the video for not only you, but obviously you talk to a ton of coaches. You're in that coaching realm. What do coaches want to see in the video, and just kind of unpack that a little bit? Because I think a lot of
Yeah.
kids who I talk to, like, yeah, I think it's like common knowledge, and then I'll talk to a high school kid, and they're like, "Well, what should I put in here?" I'm like, what do you think any coach wants to see, bro? They want to see you hit the ball like a million feet, and then they want to see you run fast and like throw it well. Like they want to see like some cool plays. Like it's not rocket science, but to these kids, I feel like they overthink it. So just like make it really simple for them. What do they need to put in there?
Yeah, I mean, carry that. Everybody's got an iPhone, man. Carry that thing around. Mom and dad. Like I've got a sophomore in high school brother, right? Like I do, and like I try to do the same thing to him. But it's very simple. Open side hitting, right? Open side hitting with some view. Like we want to see a view. Like we want to see where the ball goes, right? Because when you get too far away or too open side, then like it's hard to see. Like the video gets blurry. So like get pretty close and like even from the back or the front view, that's okay. Like a high home or a center field view, like that's all great because you can see, right? I think that's the biggest thing is that we want to be able to see what we want to see. And that comes from just getting good close up video and then being able to see where the ball goes. Like even routine plays on defense are cool, like but the special plays are awesome, like we like for our inter squads, we went and bought like $120 Walmart camcorder. Right? We set that thing up high home every day and we get a ton of great video from it. And like you can do that too. Like if it matters that much to you as a freshman, sophomore in high school, like go get one of those things. Like 164 gig SD card will last the whole game, and like you can go and clip video from just one play. Like, hey, I play shortstop. I made a sick play in the third. Like, all I got to do is slide my SD card in there. And then I can go and save it on my phone, screen record it on a Google Drive, and put it on my Twitter. But little things like that, like I think it kind of get lost in it. But it's so good, man. It really is. Like open side pitching, like high home or center field view is always good, but when it gets too zoomed out, that's when like I'm like, man, and like I can't really see like what is that like? Is that a good swing? Did the ball go like? Did it go in the gap? Did it even go oppo? I can't really tell. And so just trying to find some ways that you really can see and dive into it is the best way to do it. And with the AWRE and stuff like that, that's getting like, dude, it's pretty cool what people can do with these cameras and stuff now. But like really and truly, like we do a lot with $120 just Canon from Walmart. So
If you're watching this is a Pocket Osmo 3 right here. This is a really cool one. This is the one I brought to the bachelor party. Flips out right here, makes it, you can twist it, do whatever it can. This is a great camera right here. Highly recommend it. Or again, everybody's got a phone. The phone is the most important thing. I tell kids all the time, hey, it's your responsibility. But then I tell the parents, like, hey, you need to, be the one that films. They can't film themselves in a game. And if you can't do it, ask another parent. If you're not able to be there, ask another parent. I'm sure they, build a community. These kids need help. They need video. Video's never been more important. So don't just, let it go because, oh, my parents don't ever come to the game, or, oh, I didn't have anybody to film. Like, take your phone with you, put it up, like you said, and get it going. Last question on the recruiting, and then we'll wrap up with one more question that somebody personally wanted to ask you. What are the metrics then? Like, do you care about metrics? Like, should they include the metrics? What do you want to see, and what are good metrics?
yeah, absolutely. You're a pitcher. We want to know how hard you throw the baseball. Like it's important. As far as the hitter, yeah, like we want to know how hard you hit the baseball because like those things translate. Guys that hit the ball hard tend to find more hits. You know,
What's hard? What's hard? It's different for everybody. I get it, but like, you know, on average, what are you seeing? From your players that are coming in, from other schools that got players. Like, what average do they need to be kind of in the realm of for
like
hitting?
we draw our line like for our guys here at 95 plus. Like that's what we want to see. Like whenever you hit the ball 95 plus, like I think that's a really, really good thing. Like a lot of good things happen. As far as the younger cat and things like that, like it's okay to not hit a 95 as a sophomore, like but like, when you have the metrics and things like that, you kind of see growth, right? Like how was he like his freshman summer or freshman spring, he was 88 and then he's 90 off the bat and then he's 95 as a junior and it keeps growing like okay yeah like that's really good like there's progress there right he's getting stronger he's getting more physical I think that all of those things like that's what we want to see is the growth and like it shows hard work right like it shows different parts of your game and as far as the pitcher like you know, I think it depends on your slot. Like, what is your like? What things make you a good, effective pitcher? Because not everybody's going to throw that thing 100, and not everybody's going to throw it 95. But like, what makes you unique? Like, can you spin a slider? Can you throw a breaking ball? Are you like? Can you throw changeups in the zone, man? Like, do you have a little bit of funky, deceptive? Like, do you throw strikes? Because at the end of the day, strike throwers are a premium around here, no matter what the stuff coming out of their hand is. And so, like, just understanding, like, yeah, this is great and all, but at the end of the day, like, if you hit the ball 110 and you whiff at every breaking ball that you get, like, how much good does that do us? Like at the end of the day. So it's about being a good hitter and a good pitcher and things like that. But it's also about having good stuff too and finding the really like nice blend of that.
Great answer, man. Great answer. This question right here comes from Gannon Ruckman. I'm sure you know who he is. I don't know who he is, but he wanted me to ask you biggest takeaway slash memories from coaching at Central Methodist University.
Oh man, Gannon Road. That's all, dude.
That's
That's
the
pretty
boy.
cool. I was wondering who you said
I
somebody
put it
asked.
up late, dude. I put it up late. I gave people like 4 hours to. I should have put it up yesterday, but that one came in.
Um, you know, NAI in like Fayette, Missouri, man. Like literally, we had one stop sign, one freaking red light in the whole town, like three or four places, and it just like a great place. That's where I first started. Like I come out of play and I was a student assistant for a year while I was finishing up my degree. But I go and like I'm a grad assistant there. I'm a new guy there. I didn't know anybody really, and just get an opportunity to become who you want to become as a coach, right? And learn from people. And man, they had a great program. Nate Breland is one of my still mentors to this day. Like I call and talk to that guy all the time. Rob Ehlers was our recruiting coordinator there. And I talk to him, weekly as well. Like those guys made a huge impact in my life. Like they took a chance on me and showed me the ropes. They showed me how to drag a field, like take care of a warning track, and do little things like to the best of your ability. Dude, I push mowed infield for 2.5 years. I push mowed it and bagged it up and dumped it into trash cans because that was the standard, and
Grady.
that's how we did things. But like we had great players there, like we did, and just like those guys, man, like living in a dorm room, coaching baseball, and doing the little things that people don't always see as like what made you and what got you to where you're at. Like those are some of my most favorite. Um, we had a guy, Sergio Macias, left-handed hitter, and I tell people all the time, like that cat could have played on any team I've ever coached so far in my life. He's in the NAI from, I think he's from San Jack Junior College, and and he was one of the most special players I've ever gotten a chance to coach, man. And what like we did as a coaching staff to help that guy get him graduated, set him up for a better life, like all of the things that happened while I was there, like those guys, like they showed me the ropes, and they taught me the way that the game was meant to be coached and people were meant to be coached, and I think that's, it's special to be from there and just understand what it's like to be a part of a program like that. And for guys like that who, they do it because they love it, not for the money and not for things like that, but they do it because they love impacting young men and their lives. And I'll forever be grateful and, just like honored to be a part of their coaching tree. Even now here at App State, like it's cool. It's very cool to be a part of that tree and to grow from that and into this. Because at the end of the day, like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Love that, dude. Love that. Very humble, very grateful. You can hear it in your voice how grateful you are to that coaching staff. So I appreciate the time today, man. You've gone above and beyond. There was couple. I mean, I wouldn't say a couple. I would say a lot of gems in there. Several gems that you dropped for a lot of people out there. You don't know how many people this is going to impact. We're going to put some videos up of this. People are going to listen to it. I get people all the time reaching out saying how grateful they were for the information on some of these podcasts. So, you just took your coaching ability and you just, were able to extend it well beyond just App State. So again, I really, really appreciate it. Where can people contact you? How do they get in touch with you? How do they follow?
Yeah. You know, email McLemore McLemore at appstate.edu. I check that thing like a fiend, man. So like if you email, like I'm definitely going to see it, and just like at least put some eyes on it. Twitter, I think it's Seth McLemore 5 out there on that. I'm on Instagram a little bit. I try to keep that to family and friends and stuff like that. But like I like Twitter for sure, email for sure, man. Like any questions, I try to answer, like I really do, and try to be as upfront and honest as I can for people. So like even young coaches, anything that I can do to help you, you know, just understand, and become a better coach, man. Like that's what I love, is helping people and just, making it easier. Like hopefully you don't make the same mistakes I made. That's all we can hope for is, and that's growth, like that's impact and that's, it's simple, but it's effective, and I think that that's one of the things that we and I can hang our hat on for what we do well.
Love it. I'm going to drop that information in the link. So if you're wherever you're listening to this podcast, check below. I'll make sure that Seth's information is in there. Best of luck to you guys for the rest of the 2026 season, man. Looking forward to watching you guys grow. Looking forward to you, being there for hopefully a long period of time. I don't know with how fast your career is going. You might be, the head coach of somewhere soon. But also, congrats again on the baby. Praying for health for you and your wife. And yeah, good luck, man.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother. That means a lot. That means a lot. We It's coming soon, man. Coming soon. We don't even know what we're having, so it's even more
Let's
of a
go.
surprise. So we're going in a little blind. So I'm excited though. I'm excited.
Let's go. Fun fact before we leave, Seth, that man can play some golf, dude. Hey, I watched this man absolutely tear up a golf course. I do not play. I ride around on the golf court and I talk shit. Um, but this man, I couldn't even drop any shit on him. He was just swinging it well, dude. Love it.
You caught me on a good day. You caught me on a good day. You can't that it comes and goes. It comes and goes.
Let's go. All right. I'll talk to y'all soon. Go.
Yep. See ya.